Lady Calysta. Today I'm going to be talking to you about a couple of tips that you should think about and consider if you have recently been zeroed. Now, this is an idea that did come from a subscriber who sent me a mail in-game. Had some really great tips, so wanted to make sure that I was able to create a video around it. I think it's actually a really good topic. Now, I haven't actually been completely zeroed since I've started playing Lures Mobile. I have come close. I've been semi-zeroed back when I was, I want to say like 68 million, 65 million might. And it was completely my fault. I had about like 1.2 million, maybe 1.3 million T3. So it had taken me a long time to amass that much. I was attacking a hive on my own, was completely overextending multiple marches out. Had a massive account port next to me, send me like 5 waves, zero me, and I was totally out of speed ups and out of gems, so I couldn't even like speed my troops over to me. So what ended up happening is I was able, out of that like 1.3 million troops, I was able to save a march with my hero and then another march of like 200,000, because that's what my hospital capacity was at the time. So I had maybe like, I don't know, 500,000 left over. It felt terrible, right? And I was like, I don't know, should I quit? And I would say that's kind of the first step that I recommend. Like if you have been zeroed or very close to it, is take a step back, take time for yourself, breathe. It feels bad. I've been there, close, right? But I know that it is not a great feeling, so you need to take a step back and calm down. I think that's the first one. Figure out if you have your leader, make sure that you just pop a shield. If you don't have your leader, you can pop a shield. If you're not really sure what you're going to do next with your account, it's really up to you. I just think it's a good idea to just shield in general, because you need to take a step back and assess what you're going to do next. After you've taken time for yourself, I would say the second step is think about what went wrong. So why did it happen? Now, for me, the experience was very clear. Like, it was absolutely my fault. I was overextending. I didn't have gems. I didn't have speed ups. I was not prepared if someone ported next to me and tried to solo me, especially an account like the one that did it, right? So it was completely my fault. So I kind of knew. It wasn't that I didn't shield on time. It wasn't that I didn't have notifications set up. It wasn't any of that stuff. Figure that out for yourself and fix them before you do anything. Before you decide that you're going to become a trap account, or you're not going to replace your troops, or you are going to replace your troops, figure out like what went wrong and fix it. And that's going to be really important before you do anything. The third step is going to be getting zeroed. Almost like resets you in a certain way from a strategy perspective, right? It can be a blessing if you think about it. Now, it is not going to feel that way, but it does give you an opportunity to reset and reassess and figure out what you want to do with this account. Did you lose so many troops? Like, were you a 450 million account that you're now sitting on, let's say, 220 million worth of research and construction, that it just doesn't make sense to replace all of those troops, right? Like, you lost, I don't know, 12 million troops, 15 million troops. Were you a smaller account where maybe you didn't lose quite that many troops? Depending on where you are, you can figure out whether you want to become a trap account. You can become a rally trap account. If you were close to unlocking T4, you can just focus on getting your T4 and not replace your troops. It really depends also on your guild, how forgiving they are. Are they going to require that everybody keep a kill count up or whatever? Like, it really depends, right? So step 3 is really about figuring out, like, what do you want to do next? Assuming that you decide to move your account forward the way that it was in the past, you're basically going to try to replace your troops, then I highly recommend making sure that when you are starting to gem troops, that you always wait for troop training events, right? So you want those hell events that are about troop training, wait for those, and wait for the kingdom boosts as it relates to troop training, right? It's only 10%, but it's still going to help. And you want to make sure that you're not building, troops here and there. Like, that is, I would say, the biggest downfall to someone that's been zeroed, is because you feel so bad, and it sucks, right, to have your might at this and then it be considerably lower, right, in terms of like people ask you what happened and how quickly are you building up. You might feel compelled to just start gemming troops as soon as you have, 10k gems, like build troops really quickly. You want to make sure you wait. It's better to wait for those events. Oftentimes they will give you such great rewards that you'll be able to build even more troops. So you have to put the ego aside and just be, if your guilds, R4s and R5s have questions, be like really honest, be like, I want to be really smart about this. I plan on building my account back up again, but I need to wait for troop training events to do so. 9 times out of 10, they're going to understand it and agree with it because it is the right thing to do. And then the last thing that I'll mention is getting zeroed, and I've mentioned this a million times. I don't even know why I'm saying it again, I guess for more like my newer viewers, but they can kill all your troops, but they cannot destroy your buildings, and they can definitely not take away your research. So research is going to be solid might. You should always invest in research. If you have recently been zeroed, you might want to consider only building enough troops to, send out a couple of full marches, not necessarily having, 2 million troops, because that is really like a danger zone, right? Where it's like too many to hide, not enough to take, solos by like 3 big accounts. So it might be better and easier to just create, 800,000 troops, and instead focus your time on improving your research, making yourself stronger, and then boosting later on, as opposed to immediately replacing all the troops that you lost. Also, it's always a good idea to make sure that you have higher tier troops. Like if you were an account that had T2, T1, and T3 troops without it being like some sort of trap that you were building, that's a good opportunity to just forget about the T1 and T2 and focus on T3, right? Like you want to make those right decisions. You also want to make sure you have high hospital capacity. I can't speak enough about that. Even at my might, I have some pretty solid hospital capacity. It also helps your troops HP, so not all is lost, right? So there's a couple of things that you need to think about in terms of what your next steps will be. It is a very individualized choice. Hopefully this was helpful. Let me know down below in the comments if you guys have any tips or suggestions for players that have recently been zeroed down below. I love the community feel that we have on my channel. Everyone tries to help each other. You guys know so much about the game, right? And let's try, to keep helping the community, help each other. So let me know if you have any questions. Put your comments down below. And as usual, thank you so much for watching.